Now, this morning we have a few very special guests. Stephen Lowry, who is the general manager of 7 Tim Hortons, Chad Jenkins, who is the restaurant owner of those 7 Tim Hortons, and Audrey Yu, who is the coffee cruiser coordinator for those Tim Hortons and a lot of others, apparently. And we have them in today to talk about Camp Day, Tim Hortons Camp Day, which happens tomorrow, June 4th. How are you doing, guys?
Excellent.
Great.
Very
Thank
good.
you.
Great. Now, can we just get a quick rundown of exactly what Tim Hortons Camp Day is?
Well, Camp Day is it's a special day across Canada for all of every Tim Hortons. The purpose of Camp Day is to raise funds for the Tim Hortons Children's Foundation, and that money is used to send underprivileged children to the various camps around Canada, the United States, and the whole purpose is to just try to raise a level of awareness for the camps, the purpose of it, and to do some good things and make the day special so that we can continue giving back to our communities.
Now, what exactly happens at these Tim Horton camps? What do the children walk away with?
They walk away with an increase in confidence, an increase in a knowledge of their own abilities, a reaffirmation of what they're always capable of, but need the reassurance of other people to remind them of what they can do for themselves. And in addition to the actual physical skills, the mental skills, the emotional skills, connection with other children, connection with other adults. It's like a typical summer camp. When you think of summer camp, you think of swimming, archery, hiking, rock climbing, tenting, horseback riding, all kinds of things.
So jam-packed.
Jam-packed, absolutely.
Jam-packed, perfect. Now, can you describe the community impact Camp Day has had on communities across Canada?
I can speak locally. Tim Hortons has a variety of programs associated with the Tim Hortons Children's Foundation, and one of them is a youth leadership program. And many of the children who make it through the camps, and especially if they're successively attending, perhaps year after year, some of their qualities might be noticed, observed, and identified by the campers themselves, and then those children in turn get recommended for the youth leadership program. And that program allows the kids a bit of a path towards post-secondary education. And given some of the backgrounds that some of the kids come from, it's just one more way to try to have them achieve something more than maybe what they saw, or perhaps what their parents or parents saw as a younger person, and it just affords them that much more of an opportunity in life.
Yes, exactly. Now, we are speaking with Stephen Lowry, Chad Jenkins, and Audrey Yu about Tim Hortons Camp Day, which is tomorrow, June 4th. Now, the Tim Hortons Children's Foundation was established back in 1974 to honor Tim Hortons' love for children and his desire to help those less fortunate. The foundation is a nonprofit charitable organization committed to providing a fun-filled camp environment for children from economically disadvantaged homes. What are the requirements needed by children to be able to participate in these camps? Ages?
One of the things that is required is, as you mentioned with ages, for the children going to camp, it would be ages 9 through 12. For the youth leadership programs, it would be ages 13 to 17 years old. And of course, there is the economic criteria that you'd have to go through as well. So basically, that if you're below or a lower income household, you would be qualified if you're in those within those categories.
Okay, and so now if somebody is interested in enrolling their child into one of these camps, which there are numerous of these camps, what's their next step, and where can they go to find that information of as you just mentioned, the enrollments, requirements, and whatnot?
Generally, what we do is we reach out into the community and we try to work with organizations such as Uncles at Large. We also use Sidekicks in St. Albert. We look at Salvation Army. So any of the organizations in the community that have close contact with lower income households, and we go through those avenues to create a bridge.
If I can add to that, if an individual has a desire to send their child to camp, they can contact the Tim Hortons Children's Foundation directly, and
Yes.
make a recommendation. And the folks that run the camp and run the program will certainly make a connection with those people to determine if their child does indeed qualify.
Yeah, no, definitely. I do want to get back on Camp Day here in a few minutes, but I want to touch base on this specifically here. Over the past 5 years, you've been working on implementing a meaningful, and I mean you as in Tim Hortons in general, a meaningful, structured, and long-term partnership with the Aboriginal community with a few different programs. Now, can you tell us about this partnership between Tim Hortons and the Aboriginal communities throughout Canada?
Our head office did a little bit of reaching out a number of years ago to many Aboriginal communities. Many of them, it started out in Ontario only because there's a large number of stores there and larger population and larger opportunity, and it's taken some time to try to resonate those efforts outward to the rest of the country. At this point, it's a little bit hit and miss, in terms of what the company does or what programs are in place. But at the same time, if any Aboriginal groupings across the country have things going on or need some assistance from Tim Hortons, then I think the easiest thing to do is to just make contact with a local franchisee and say, hey, we've got different programs that we're trying to run to help our youth, to try to help ourselves, to try to foster a spirit of connectedness, within our own group, and is there any way that Tim Hortons can help? And as a family-run business with multiple locations, especially centered in St. Albert, I'd be more than happy to accept a call like that and try to take the lead on something like that, in an effort to try to shore up that checkerboard hit and miss sometimes that happens.
All right, there you have it. So if you're an Aboriginal community throughout Alberta and you're wanting to reach out, I guess in regards to some of the programs that Tim Hortons as a whole has to offer, Chad Jenkins, who is a restaurant owner, 7 franchises throughout Alberta here, he is more than open to taking your requests. Now, going back to the whole programs, all the programs that the Tim Hortons has to offer for Aboriginal communities, they have partnerships with Outside Looking In. They sponsor Indigenous Action, an initiative of Assembly of First Nations, AFN. They've done work with Dreamwalkers Gathering, and they're also very active with National Aboriginal Day every single year. And Audrey, that's where you come in because you are the Coffee Cruiser Coordinator, right? So I know that you specifically take part in a lot of events like that.
Yes, we're actually going to be attending with the Coffee Cruiser on June 20th for Aboriginal Day. So I'll be there at, I believe it starts very early, 6 a.m. Till 9, and then afterwards I'll be joining the festivities. So I think it'll be a really fun day.
Yeah, and this is all going, is this the one at the Legislature downtown?
Yeah, I believe so. It's on June 20th.
Okay, and what are some other things that you do as the Coffee Cruiser Coordinator?
So I basically work very closely with all of the franchisees. I also work very closely with the regional marketing manager and all of the different stores. My job is very dynamic. I not only organize and plan for all of the events that we support and donate to, but I also go out on National Hiring Day, went out to multiple restaurants, and on Camp Day I'll be going to 10 different restaurants. So I'm very involved with all of the stores as well.
Wow. Now we are speaking, if you're just tuning in, with Stephen Lowry, Chad Jenkins, and Audrey Yu, talking about the relationship between Tim Hortons and the Aboriginal community throughout Canada, as well as Camp Day, which is tomorrow, June 4th. Now, Chad Jenkins, you just touched base on the I guess, presence out in Ontario. It's such a huge presence out there, and you mentioned why, because there's so many Tim Hortons locations out there. Now, there is a huge presence out in Ontario as well as the eastern provinces. You've definitely done some work here in Alberta, Tim Hortons as a whole, in a lot of southern areas. Can we expect any kind of those programs making their way up to the northern communities in Alberta?
Well, I think it's like most things. A lot of things happen at the grassroots before they happen anywhere else, and I think sometimes we have to scream from the rooftops to say we are here, we are here, we are here, and sometimes that requires a little bit of effort by there's myself, but at the same time, sometimes it's easier for the individual groups to go to the local franchisee and say, hey, we've got this program that we'd like some support from. And, and then I have no issue going to head office and say, this is a great program. Maybe we should try to get behind it. So, whether it's something I do locally out of my own restaurants or whether it's something that we use head office to do some heavy hitting for, one way or the other, we're prepared to provide that support.
Exactly. Now, Together We Can Make a True Difference in a Child's Life Camp Day is tomorrow, June 4th. If you want to donate to this amazing foundation, there's a few ways to do so. Anyone here?
Yeah, one of the ways you can do that is by texting, and in Canada you can text 45678 in Canada to donate $5. In the U.S. it's 41518 to donate again $5. You can also go online at sendakidtocamp.com to donate. You can also make donations in restaurants by purchasing a tent or a cabin and donating $5 or $10 or whatever you choose. You can also round up your purchase total to the nearest higher dollar, and that amount would be donated as well. So the other thing that I really wanted to emphasize is that 100% of the proceeds from coffee sales tomorrow will be going directly to the Tim Hortons Children's Foundation.
100%. So it's not a dollar of the proceeds. It's 100% of every coffee sold throughout every Tim Hortons all throughout Canada.
That's correct.
Wow, that's incredible. Now, thank you guys so much for joining me. Steve Lowry, Chad Jenkins, and Audrey Yu. Did you have any last remarks?
I would just like to encourage everyone to come out and, enjoy the day and, think of the impact that you can have on children. I'd like to just remind everybody that, 1 in 6 kids in Canada and the U.S. do live in economically disadvantaged homes, and you can make a really big impact in their lives and help them move forward into a much brighter future.